Jamie and I picked this up at a thrift store the other day, and it is an old Treadle sewing machine. It's had a better life. It's missing the keys for all of these. Most of the drawer pulls are gone. We're going to replace those. And a dog has gotten it at some point in a couple of places and really chewed it up. And back here too, in the corner. It didn't open when we first got it. And the treadle didn't have a belt and was loose. And I've done a couple of things on there to kind of fix that up. So something cool that I've been working on. I got all the stuff working on this, and I've got one more little piece to fix because this is supposed to open all at the same time. It's kind of automated. It's pretty ingenious how this works. I love it. I love it. I love this old engineering. It doesn't have a belt. I've just got a little piece of like shoestring leather on here, but check this out. I've got the treadle working too. So it takes a little rhythm. You got to kind of get the wheel in the right spot and get your rhythm down. A percussionist would probably be really good at this. Okay, got it going. All right, there's my rhythm. You can see this head moving. I imagine it would work even better if it had the actual belt, the correct belt for it. But check that out. Even this little piece down here, you can see the little foot. I forget what those are called. My friend Jacob told me what that's called and I forgot. This machine is called the Damascus Grand. One of my favorite things when we found this at the thrift store, it still has some of the original bobbins that it came with and then some wooden spools for thread. And look at all these, it says attachments. I don't know if this was the original one, but this has got all the sewing attachments listed here. They're not organized, they're all down here. But look at all these feet that it came with. You'll often see Jamie and I just fold over an orbital sanding disc over the top of our sanding sponge. It's because sometimes they get worn out, but they're really great as sanding blocks without having to take paper on and off all the time. And they're kind of squishy, so they'll get down in these cracks and in these corners. Sometimes you can round a corner off, but they work really well for an application like this. We've got this stain up on the website. This is the same color that we used on our floors, the number 3. I think that's all we're calling it right now. I'm just going back over here because I want it to dry quickly. It dries in about 15 minutes and then I can go back over it with paint or sealer. And I'm just going over these spots I sanded and the new knobs that I added. That way if I distress over them, they don't look real stark and bright like brand new wood.
Okay, so we are using Flour Sack, which is Sweet Pickins milk paint. You can get it at JamiRayVintage.com. It's a milk paint we've already mixed up. I'll have Zeb post the link to more milk paint, sorry, I can't even talk, milk paint videos so you can see how you mix it. You just do 1 part of the powdered milk paint to 1 part warm water and then you mix it up. We used an immersion blender to get it nice and smooth, but you can also just use a spoon or a whisk. Okay, so I'm just gonna paint this on here. And it's probably gonna take 2 or 3 coats. We're gonna go pretty chippy with it, so I'm not super worried about full coverage.
No extra bond in this.
Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Zeb mixed up my paint, so I didn't know. He just told me to come out here and paint it.
Well, I could take an hour painting it, or we can watch you do it in 5 minutes.
Whatever. Once this dries, I'll flip it open and paint the inside.
You getting paint on my cast iron?
Yes, sir, I am. We'll have to wipe it off later. Let me just clean that up. This is like really taking the paint back here, whatever this.
Oh, that's just dry backer board. It probably wasn't even sealed originally
like
from the factory.
alligator finish type. It makes a really cool distress. We're done. Because it has a fun texture. The reason why I like to paint with the drawers in is because I know like how far they'll push back in these old pieces. And then I sand them super smooth around the edge and they don't stick. But, because like this one only comes out this far, but this one goes way further back. And it would look weird if it didn't have paint like in the ledge. Okay, so we wound up doing 3 coats of flour sack to get a pretty even coverage. I think if you were gonna do complete full coverage, you might have to do 4. A lot of times I want a really good full coverage, I'll use like DIY white swan and then I'll put flour sack over the top. So that's also a good option. Be sure if you're looking for flour sack or white swan to go to jamirayvintage.com and you can pick it up. Next step, we are going to be sanding, distressing, remove any of the chippy crackle that happened from the flour sack and getting ready to seal. First I have to find my mask, and then I'm going to be using my orbital sander and 220 sandpaper to give this a distress and smooth out my paint. So I'm taking my sandpaper and I'm going to go around all the edges and smooth them out so that way it won't get stuck. Just makes it a little neater. Okay, so because it's super chippy, I've decided to wax it. And this is just the clear wax you can pick up at jamirayvintage.com. This is our wax brush. I love it because it's got a nice big thick grip. And I just kind of take a little bit and put it on in circular motions and really rub it into my piece. You don't want to use a ton because it'll get greasy. And you can build up layers. So do a layer, wait an hour or 2 hours, do another layer, and then buff it off. And in case you're wondering, the reason why I have this in a separate jar is because this paint job is really chippy and I don't want to contaminate my wax and just in case there's a few chips left, and get it in my whole wax jar. So this way I can control that.
With much persuasion, Jamie to let me bring this onto the rug so I could sit in a comfy chair and talk to you.
It better not stain my rug.
It's not.
It's gonna cost you $170 if it does.
It's not.
Because I can't bleach the rug. I can bleach the chairs, but I can't bleach the rug.
This has been one of my favorite pieces that we've worked on. I've wanted to do one of these for a long time and I've never had one that was complete, that actually worked.
He's been pretty excited about it. I'm excited about the bathroom that we're working on, and he's excited about this. And look which project is finished first.
This is the easier video to edit.
Whatever. I actually really do love the way it came out. I think I made the choice of doing flour sack milk paint. Flour sack's the color, because I wanted it to look chippy and authentic. Zeb made the choice of not putting an extra bond, which I think was perfect because it's super chippy. But luckily it did stick in quite a few places, but it looks like it was painted like a long time ago. Not
Yeah,
like
it doesn't look like we just painted it.
It was too old to have like a fresh, perfect paint job, and we opted not to paint the bottom because I like the aged metal, and I also really like, right now I'm really into black and white. You could probably tell from like all the decor in my house. So
we'll throw some gold on it.
There will be no gold on it. Anyways. The cool thing about this is that it came with the original attachment box, and the pattern and detail on this, Zeb will take some up close pictures, matches the actual sewing machine itself, and there's actually all the attachments and scissors in it. And so it's black and it's gold.
I love it.
I know, Zeb fixed it. It did not go up and down when we got it.
And the treadle wasn't working.
Yeah, and so Zeb made it completely functional. Whoever buys it will need to replace the belt. Zeb just used a piece of leather just to make sure that it was indeed working. But it's cool because they can actually use like all the original attachments for this piece, and that's usually you lose all this stuff. I have to say that probably one of the main reasons I bought this when we were out picking was because it had this box and it has all the
She bought it for
things.
the little tin box full of feet.
I don't even know what these things do because I don't sew, but somebody who sews is really going to appreciate the fact that all the attachments are here in the original box.
You know what's cool about these old machines is that you can really run them through like really thick material like leather. They work really good for leather working nowadays.
Yeah, and the newer machines, just unless they're industrial, aren't cut out for that. And there's also in all the drawers a ton of thread on wood spools. So it's got some of the authentic things. It's got some newer thread too, but it's got some of the old stuff. So whatever's been with the machine for a long time. And somebody who doesn't sew could totally just leave it shut and it would make an excellent entryway piece. You could put things inside the drawers. I love, like, we had to replace the knobs because most of them were broken. So we just bought what would have been common for the period and replaced them with that. But all the drawers are really deep and thick and it's just a really fun piece.
And we used the milk stain on the knobs and the piece that was missing over here where the dog chewed on it, which is up for sale on the website.
Yeah, so and then we used milk stain because we wanted to really get as close to the
Yeah, it really matched really nice.
stain. The newer stains are really dark and I don't know how, like intense.
It's hard to get them to match, and then if you have any kind of finish, they don't soak in, whereas this is water-based, it just dried out on the top.
Yeah, so it worked really, really well. So, yeah, I'm really pleased with it. Okay, so visit JamiRayVintage.com to purchase the milk stain that we use to touch it up with, as well as the clear wax and the milk paint in flour sack. If you're doing a piece that's super shiny, you might want to also buy extra bond. We lucked out with this piece though. There were lots of dry areas, and so it only chipped off in a few places.
I'll show the close-up pictures, but you can see, I mean, we had to do a bit of sanding to get it to come off.
Yeah, for sure. But it did chip, and there's like amazing crackle and totally random in the chipping and crackle, which that's the thing. When you're using milk paint, you're going to get a really authentic chippy look that you're not going to get when you're using chalk paint, just because it does its own thing. So you have to give up control.
I'm alright with that.
Anyways, we appreciate your support of going to JamiRayVintage.com. Make sure that you hit the notifications button so that way you can see the rest of our bathroom remodel that we're in the middle of.
Coming up first of the week, we'll have a couple videos on that.
Give us a thumbs up. Comment below with any questions you have on milk paint. We're happy to answer. We have a whole, what's it called, playlist with milk paint in there, so there's lots of great videos. Watch all those, and if you still have questions, then comment below.
Make sure you guys are subscribed so you're getting those notifications when you hit that bell.
Bye, guys.